special victims detective in the city and one of my closest friends. He had worked homicide for years, the highest-ranking African-American in the squad and one of the few to be promoted to first grade, but requested the transfer to SVU because he preferred working with survivors of violent crime to handling murders. His compassion and gentle nature had helped scores of women and children in their recovery from the trauma of sexual assault. "Are we waiting for Mercer?" I asked. "He's downstairs with hotel security," the lieutenant said. "Setting them up with a team of detectives to watch video surveillance tapes from the last 72 hours. No telling when he'll get back up here. This place is vast." "But there are so many cameras on the Waldorf, Lou. We could get lucky in a few hours," I said. "From your lips." "Now let me see the girl." "Take a deep breath, Alex." Hal waved a licorice-sucking candy under my nose. I opened my mouth and accepted it like a communion wafer, even though it was small protection against the powerful odor of death. I walked behind Hal, careful to avoid the areas of thick beige carpeting that were stained a dark red. The heavy silk drapes, rose-colored with a rich brocade trim, were drawn shut. Lamps on the dresser and night tables were lighted, and Hal's auxiliary spotlight equipment was directed at the unmade king bed. I skirted the chaise and sofa, then saw the body of the young woman, sprawled on her back on top of the rumpled sheets. My eyes rested on her neck. Her head was turned to the side, away from me. But there was a slice deep into her flesh that extended from behind her ear down to the top of her throat, and then across her slim neck, till it disappeared out of my line of sight. Beneath the far side of her head, the blood pooled and had seeped into the bedding. The killer had deposited drops, large globs of the thick, dark stain, as he walked away from his victim. Those were the markings on the carpet that led out of this death chamber toward the front door. "Had anything like this, Alex?" Rocco had given me time to take in the scene. The well-toned body of the woman was exposed to all of us, memorialized in photographs that would be studied in a courtroom if I overcame an adversary's cry of prejudice, and soon to be dissected by a first-rate medical examiner in the grimmest room in New York City. My first instinct, anything but prosecutorial, was to restore some of her dignity and lift the sheet over her torso. Instead, I bit my lip and studied the position of the lower body, legs splayed to reveal a patch of dark, curly pubic hair. "No," I said. "Nothing." The lieutenant wanted to know whether I had encountered any victims who had survived a similar assault, raped and left for dead with a deep knife wound to the neck. Rocco Corelli would not have received reports of survivors from the Special Victims Unit, but my team would have known of anyone operating with a similar modus operandi. I folded my arms and stared at the body again, from the tips of her manicured toes to the lines that appeared to have been sliced by a sharp instrument into her upper thighs, past the gaping wound that killed her to the top of her matted brunette hair. "I'm sure you've checked with North." Rocco's superb team of homicide detectives covered the southern half of the island of Manhattan, responding to all the unnatural deaths that occurred from the lower border of Central Park on 59th Street to the tip of the Battery. Manhattan North had the rest of the real estate: the park itself, the Upper East and Upper West Sides, Harlem and Spanish Harlem, to the border created by Spite and Dival Creek, looking across to the Bronx. It was Detective Mike Chapman's turf, run by a veteran lieutenant named Ray Peterson, with whom I'd worked dozens of cases. Nada. It's like a monster that emerged from the deep and decided to commit a very professional job of slaughtering a broad smack in the middle of town at one of the most prestigious addresses in Manhattan. No priors like it, nothing to suggest escalating from a pattern of serial rapes. It's like he came out of nowhere. "Nobody comes out of nowhere, boss," Pug said, "and disappeared back into nowhere," Rocco said, ignoring Pug McBride. "Who is she?" I said. "No idea yet. You've asked me that 3 times. Impatience isn't your best feature."
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.